What's going on, everybody? Sean Pierce Johnson here with this week's edition of Stompbox Saturday, and on the stomping block today, it is the Quattro, another one of the Joyo Ironman pedals. If you're looking for a really nice, low-priced delay pedal, this just might be the one for you. It packs 4 different delay types in a very easy-to-use package, and of course, just like the rest of the Ironman pedals, winning the design game here with a nice heavy-duty mini-sized enclosure, recessed knobs, and of course the control plate cover. You have 3 knobs that help you set your delay tone. You have the mix, which will give you more delay or less delay. You have your delay time, and then you have your feedback, which is the amount of repeats that you're going to be hearing in your signal. And then you have your 4 delay modes, and you change between those with the bottom right knob here. You have copy, which is essentially a digital delay, an ana, which is an analog style delay, a mod, which is a modulated delay, and then a filter setting, which is also really cool. So let's cycle through all these tones and see what we can come up with. All right, let's start out by checking out the copy mode on the Quattro. Now, when you dial in a sound with this setting, you're going to find a digital style delay, which is great. The one thing I can say I really like about this particular mode is it's not quite as ice picky in the highs. I'll just go ahead and thump a D note and you can hear what I'm talking about. See what I'm talking about? You hear that? It's just a nice little boost in the highs. It's not quite digital artifacts, ice picks and knives in the ear kind of high end. It's really nice. So I've dialed in a slap sound to start off, and here's what that sounds like. Pretty nice for a digital delay slap. You don't get that, usually digital delays just don't do the short delay times well, but this sounds really nice. Now let's go ahead and dial up the time a little bit. We'll put that just past noon, and we'll up the feedback a little bit so we get a few more repeats. Now with this, let's slap on some distortion, and let's have a bit of fun. Now that's really incredible. It really doesn't have that harsh high end, especially with distortion. And many of you guys know, playing with a digital delay on distorted sounds is not exactly the most pleasing to the ears, but the Quattro really keeps up. I mean, that really had a cool Gilmore, Brian May kind of vibe to it. Just really, really nice. So now let's jump into the analog setting. So with the analog style delay on the Quattro, I find that that works really well for arpeggiated patterns as well as incorporating some strumming. We get a darker repeat than we do with the copy setting, which would be digital style, but it's not quite as dark as some of the other Bucket Brigade style delays out there on the market. Let me show you what I'm talking about. First, we'll hear the sound without delay. Now turning on the Quattro. It just helps fill the space, but it doesn't get too far out into the mix where it becomes overbearing. The analog style echo also sounds really good with distorted sounds. Now, for me, I like to back off the feedback and the time as well, so we get something shorter with not as many repeats. We're going for more of a thickening effect rather than an echo effect. So to do that, I'm also going to dial back the mix so it just kind of sits under our playing. And of course, you can adjust to taste if you like. So you still get to hear a little bit of that effect, but again, it's not as apparent and it's not starting to get overbearing. The modulated delay setting on the Quattro is probably my favorite. I just find that using it for clean, arpeggiated patterns lends a really nice three-dimensional quality to your playing. Here's what that sounds like. That warble you get from the modulation just lends a nice movement, and it just sits really nicely in the mix of your guitar. Now, that also comes from where you place the knobs. This particular setting, I like to keep the mix low. Now, using it for distorted sounds is also really cool. You kind of get that jet airplane effect, which is kind of cool. But if you're trying to play any sort of riffing, where tightness is probably what you're going for, maybe you're not going to want to use such a long a delay time or as much feedback, or even not use this setting at all. But I just love how lush it makes everything sound. The filter delay on the Quattro is the most unique thing on it. I've never heard anything like it, and if I could describe it for you, it's like your delay repeats are going through a wah pedal, and somebody is controlling that wah pedal ever so slightly, going from toe down to heel down and back again. It's a really, really unique sound, and, well, best to just hear it. First with some clean arpeggiation, then we'll switch over to some distortion, and then you can hear that. Very cool. That movement of the filter just adds a whole new, I don't know what, to the sound. It's just very unique. So now let's turn on some distortion. I'm going to back off the mix a little bit, and then we can see what kind of layer that adds to some distorted power chords. That's cool. I could definitely hear somebody, maybe even myself, using that sound to great effect in a song or mix. Well, there you have it, everybody. There is your look at the Quattro part of Joyo's Ironman series. I certainly hope you guys have liked this look at some of the pedals that are coming from this series, and I hope you've learned something. And what I hope you've learned is this: just because it's made in China doesn't have to mean that it's bad. I know that a lot of the Chinese pedals that have found their way over to the States have been cheap clones of classic circuits, but really, what are all pedals these days if not just slight modifications of classic circuits? If anything, you really need to do just one. Play it before you open your mouth. Play it before you start typing. And really sit with it and really find out whether it's good or not. I'm pleasantly surprised with all the Joyo stuff that I've had the chance to check out, and I definitely recommend it. If you're a guy looking to get into effects pedals, or a girl for that matter, and you don't have a whole lot of money to spend, this is definitely something to take a look at. I'm very happy. Thank you so much to Jerome for sending these my way, and Henning again for making the connection. I really have appreciated the help and really appreciated the support. But of course, like everything, this is just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Shoot me a comment below and stay tuned for next week's Stompbox Saturday. And until then, Sean Pierce Johnson here, wishing you good tone and happy stomping. Cheers.